Today's lesson is dealing with capacity. It goes along with page 334. If you look at page 334 in your book, and you look up at the top above the glasses, you'll see a cream-colored chart, and it says 1 gallon equals 4 quarts, 1 quart equals 2 pints, 1 pint equals 2 cups, 1 cup equals 8 fluid ounces. Okay, so that's a chart that you can use when you're doing these problems on this page. You want to look back and forth to use that chart to help. Sometimes I have a hard time remembering and memorizing that there's 2 cups in a pint and 2 pints in a quart and 4 quarts in a gallon. So I did come across this little saying that helps me with trying to figure out, okay, how many cups are in a pint again? So I'm going to read to you a little story. And while I'm telling the story, I'm going to draw it out. This is something you can draw on your paper, pretty similar to order of operations, pretty please, my dear Aunt Sally. So this is something you could also draw on your paper when you're dealing with capacity to help you remember all of the different conversions. So the story starts off in the land of Gallon. In the land of Gallon, there was a giant king. His name was King Gallon. There was also within this land of Gallon, there were 4 giant queens. So within your gallon, there was 4 giant queens. My marker doesn't want to work. Let's make that a little bit better. There's a giant queen, another giant queen. Each queen had a prince and a princess. The prince and the princess loved to wear their crowns. They had 2 special crowns that they would wear. One they would wear to go out to parties, and the other crown they would just wear all the time. So each prince and princess both had 2 crowns. So we're going to put 2 C's with each P. Their crowns, of course, since they were prince and princesses, were very special. Each crown had 8 opals on them. So with inside each crown, each C, I'm going to put an 8. And that is my story to help me with conversions. So if you look closely at your giant G, you will notice that we can do our conversions. We can notice that you have a gallon, which equals 4 quarts. You will also notice that within each quart, there's 2 pints. So 2 pints is the same as 2 quarts. You will also notice that there's 2 C's in each pint. So there's 2 cups will give you a pint. And that every cup has 8 fluid ounces. If you look at your chart, it tells you the same exact thing. However, you can take this a little bit farther and say, okay, if I wanted to know how many cups are in a gallon, I could simply go through and count all my cups. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So there's actually 16 cups in a gallon. I could go through and count all of my P's to figure out how many pints are in a gallon. So this little picture actually gives you a whole bunch of information. It will also tell you how many fluid ounces are in a gallon or how many fluid ounces are in a quart. So if you can remember your P's, your Q's, your G's, C's, and 8, you can draw out the picture and you'll always have those conversions there for you. So if you look at number 1 in your book on page 334, number 1 is asking you to convert 32 cups into gallons. There's a couple different ways you can do this. You can actually use your gallon pitcher and say, okay, if I count all my cups, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 in each cue. So 4 times 4 is 16. I know there's 16 cups for 1 gallon. So I can use my pitcher to do that. I can look at my chart. My chart kind of does the same thing. My chart tells me that 1 pint, I'm going to put PT for the abbreviation, 1 pint equals 2 cups. And then right above that, it tells me that 1 quart, QT, equals 2 pints. So in order to do that, if I have 2 pints, how many cups would that be? Well, 1 pint is 2, so I would do 2 times 2. So that tells me that's the same as 4 cups. So if I keep working my way up, and it tells me the next thing is 1 gallon, hopefully you can see this, 1 gallon is the same thing as 4 quarts. Well, if I know that 1 quart is 4 cups, and I have 4 of them, 4 times 4 is 16. So you can do it either way. You can use your pitcher to help you, or you can go up your chart, making sure that you're multiplying and converting quarts and cups as you go. So when I look at this picture, I know there's 16 cups for 1 gallon. I have 32 cups. So I have to figure out how many gallons. So let's say I have 32 cups of milk and I need to pour that into gallon containers. How many containers will I need? So I'm going to take that 32 cups and I'm going to divide it by 16 because I want to break it up into containers of 16. So 16 actually goes into 32 2 times because 2 times 16 is 32. So my answer is 2 gallons. So when you're working on these, think about we're going from cups, which is a really small measurement, and going into gallons of milk, something large. So we're going to need less of them. That is why we divide for number 1. Let's look at number 2. Number 2 is asking us to change 16 quarts into how many cups? Okay, so this time I have 16 quarts. If I look up here at my chart that I extended, I know that 1 quart is the same as 4 cups. 1 quart is the same as 4 cups. If I come over here, look at my queen, there's 4 C's in there, so 1 quart is the same as 4 cups. I have 16 quarts. I need to figure out how many cups that is. Okay, cups is a smaller measurement than quarts. It's inside it. So we're actually going to multiply 16 times 4. When we multiply 16 times 4, you do 4 times 6 is 24. Carry the 2, put down the 4. 4 times 1 plus 2 is 6. So my answer would be 64 cups. So when you're doing these, think about which one's larger, which one's smaller. And that will help you decide, do I multiply? Do I divide? If I divide it by 4, I'm going to get an answer that's smaller. And think about that. If I had 4 cups, would that be the same thing as 16 quarts? Again, look at your water bottles, look at gallons of milk. It's a lot larger than a cup. So your answer wouldn't make sense if it got smaller. So always stop to make sure your answers make sense. You need more cups than you do quarts. So that number needs to be larger for them to stay equal. Okay, let's look at number 6. Number 6, when you look at that, it says 5 pints equals how many quarts, how many pints. So this means when you do your math, you're going to have a leftover. It's not going to go in evenly because you're going to have still pints left over. So I'm going to look at my chart and say, okay, I have pints and I need to go to quarts. I know that there's 2 pints in 1 quart. So there's 2 pints that equal 1 quart. So I need to change this. I'm not going to get more. I'm actually going to get a smaller number because I need to keep them equal. Pints are smaller than quarts. So since this is a high number, this is a larger container, it's going to take less of them to fill it up. You're going to need to fill that quart up, and you're not going to get a larger, you're not going to get higher than 5. So I'm going to take 5 pints and I'm going to divide it by 2. 5 divided by 2, 2 goes into 5 2 times with 1 left over. These are pints that we are breaking up. So this leftover is also a pint. So I get 2 quarts and 1 pint. You just need to show that you divided. You don't have to re-show this 2 pints equals 1 quart, but I do want to see the math on how you're getting your answers. So I just thought this would be a neat little lesson to help you remember how many cups are in a pint, how many fluid ounces are in a cup, or you can use the chart that goes along with it, whichever one works best for you.